So maybe you're looking at different diets that you can try out. There are plenty out there to choose from keto to intermittent fasting to paleo to South Beach. The options are literally endless. Well, before you decide, I'm going to share with you these 3 dieting myths because I believe they can save you a world of time and effort. Let's dive in. Welcome to episode 7 of the LeRock Show, where I'm here to help you get your fitness back on track at any age and regardless of your current fitness level, so you can spend more quality time with your family, have a brighter outlook on life, and finally find the true joy that life does have to offer. I'm your host, LeRock. Today I'm in a particularly happy mood. As the sun is finally shining here in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, I filmed this show a little bit ahead of schedule, so this is really our first day where we've had some decent sunshine lately. And I'm super happy that you're making a commitment again today to your health and fitness and trusting in me as your guide. I'm honored. And for those of you listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or one of the other podcast channels that I'm on out there, thank you for listening. And thanks for the reviews because it does help me get my message out there. And if you're watching on YouTube, I love you guys. I look forward to your comments, your feedback, your likes, your engagement every week, and the ideas you have, because it only motivates me to help you more, and it provides me some great insight in planning my future shows. I'm especially excited today because today's subject is something that plagued me greatly in the past, and I know it has affected many people out there. So sharing my opinion and my experience with you today in order to help you prevent some wasted time and wasted effort and save you some anguish in the process is something that brings me great gratitude, and I'm so happy that I can do it today. In today's episode, I'll be sharing with you 3 dieting myths. And yes, speaking of diets, not all of them are created equal. Many of them are complicated, expensive, and very limiting, which makes it very hard to stick to. And that's one of the reasons I created my very own eating approach that is very livable and easy to stick to for the long term. You see, I struggled so much in the past with dieting that one day I decided to take a step back and look at the big picture. I decided this time to focus on my psychology, and I focused on putting common sense in place. And I developed my own exciting new eating approach called Automate Your Plate. Now, I talk about it in my book, and I do teach it in my online course. And it's one of the key 9 directives that I use to shed 65 pounds in 13 weeks. And the proof in the making is that was 15 years ago. And I've stayed on this diet and been able to do it without even trying. And I've been able to keep the weight off all this time. And that's what inspired me to share this with you today. It allows you to eat more frequently than you ever have before, all with less time and effort spent. And the cool thing is that others I've shared this with have had great results too. I want you to have free and immediate access to this information today. So I put together a step-by-step checklist that you can begin using today as your quick start guide at automating your plate. It takes everything I teach for this directive in my online course, and it breaks it all down into a single page cheat sheet. And that's it. It's amazing, and it's super easy to follow. And yeah, I'm giving it away for free today so you can start using it today. Just go to ethanlerock.com/automate. For those of you listening on podcasts, it's ethanlerock.com/automate. And if you're watching on YouTube, I will have some links down below, and you can click on those and get it there. So, you want to lose a few pounds, and you want to try out a new diet that you hope will help you get there. You get on the internet and you start doing a search, and you're looking for what is the best diet for losing weight, or what is the best diet for me to lose my belly, or what is the best diet to get 6-pack abs, or it goes on and on and on. What is the best diet? And upon your search, you find there's a huge and vast array of diets out there that you can choose from. Well, before you even go there, and that includes if you decide to use my eating approach, I'd like to share with you 3 myths that I'd like to address when it comes to dieting. The very first myth and the one that I think is the most important, so please pay attention to this one, is the idea that diet is the number one most important thing when it comes to your health and fitness, when it comes to losing weight. This is a belief that I personally had for a very long time. I believed that diet was first, followed closely by exercise. I believed that if I found the right diet for me, and I was eating nutritiously and eating healthy the way we were taught, eating salad, eating chicken breast, having a little bit of rice, not overindulging, and following the right diet, well, then I would be guaranteed that I'd be in a healthy state, that I would get my fitness back, and that I would be able to maintain it. And I did. I signed up for that for many years. I believed that. And what I found personally, and I believe many others have had this same issue, is that no matter what diet you are on, if it isn't something that you can follow for the long term, then your chances of losing weight on that diet aren't very good. You may have some short-term results only to fall back and end up gaining the weight back, if not more sometimes. That's what was happening to me. Because I thought diet was the most important thing, I found myself bouncing around from diet to diet to diet, trying different things out. I've tried out keto. I've tried out paleo. I've tried out, back then, I think it was called Atkins. And I've tried out many, many different types of diets. And what I found is some of them had pros and some of them had cons, but the number one and most important thing was never the diet. The most important thing that I discovered, and I talk about it a lot, was my psychology. The way I was thinking, the way I was feeling about things, the way I felt about eating. I thought dieting was something you did in order to lose weight, in order to look good. I believed it was something, it was the answer. The number one answer. And what I found is that wasn't the truth. And that's why many people aren't doing so great with their health and fitness. That's why our obesity rates are at an all-time high right now. Because people are trying out the diets. They're signing up to the program. You know, they're trying these different things out. And maybe they're getting some short-term gains, and then they find themselves floundering. And they can't do well at it for some reason. Well, the reason that's happening is because it isn't the diet at all. It's their focus. It's the way they're thinking about the diet. It's the way they're feeling about the diet. And it's also the way they're not thinking at all about what they want to do. And that's the key. It's your psychology. Why do you want to be on the diet? Why do you want to lose weight? Like I've said in previous episodes, those are the key questions to ask yourself. You need to focus on the reasons why you want to be on that diet. Okay? You need to understand what that diet means to you. Okay? You can't just hope you're going to stay on a diet, because diets are restrictive. On the most part, most diets are restrictive. They're there for us to, they're basically keeping us in line, stopping us from stuffing our faces full of yummy, calorie-dense foods. That's kind of why diets are there in the first place. They're there to stop us. They're like there to protect us from ourselves. And they give us kind of a strict regimen for, how we should eat. And the problem with that is us as human beings, we don't like being told what to do. We don't like things that are limiting. So instead of focusing on what diet should I be on, we really should be thinking about what can I do with my psychology so that I will stay on whatever diet I decide to go on. Because if it's going to be restrictive, If it's going to be hard to stick to, you have to be mentally strong to stay on that diet for the long term. Okay? The second myth I want to talk to you about today is this whole idea of counting calories. Now, if you go on the internet and you watch the various, fitness people out there, many of them believe that you should be counting your calories. I used to be one of them. I used to believe this, so I understand it. And the idea is that you ingest less calories than you're putting out, and that you put yourself in a calorie deficit is what they call it. So what that involved for me back in the day when I used to believe in it, and I'm not saying it doesn't work. It does work. It's science. But the problem with it is it doesn't address your psychology again. And I'll tell you why. So back in the day when I used to do this, I would get my meats, I would weigh them, I would count every calorie, and that included my meats, that included my carbohydrates, that included my fats, that included everything. And I would, do the calculation, and this is how many calories I burn a day. I would, I went on the internet and I figured out how much my body needs just to maintain. And then I'd figure out how much I'd burn, and I'd make sure that I was burning more than what I was eating. And the problem with that is it does work if you're focused. If you're saying, I want to lose weight for this wedding, or this vacation I'm going to go on, or this beach I'm going to go on, or this, summer's coming, so I got to get in shape. And the problem with that is it's not realistic, because over the long term, time goes by. A week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, 3 weeks goes by, and it becomes something you just dread. You dread the counting, you're sick of it, it's boring, it's mundane, it's not fulfilling in any way. Yeah, you're getting some results, but at what expense, right? So I found that once I realized that counting calories was just something that I couldn't do for the long term, well, that made me step back and go, what am I going to do? How can I do this? And that was one of the most important questions I had asked myself when it came to dieting. And that's what gave me the answers that I have today. I no longer count calories. I haven't counted calories in 15 years. I don't worry about every little fraction and every little, nutrient and every little morsel I eat any longer. And I'm telling you right now, you don't need to. You do not need to know every single thing about everything you eat and everything you put in your mouth. I'm proof of it. I've been doing this for more than 15 years, and people I've shown this to, people I've shown my eating approach to, for example, have benefited greatly because they no longer have to do it. It frees you, and it makes it so that you can actually do something that's livable and doable. And when something is livable and doable, right? When it's not mundane and it's not boring and it's not cumbersome, guess what? People do it. And that's the secret. And the third myth that I'd like to talk about today is this whole idea that a diet must be complex and it must be limiting. There's so many of these diets out there where you have to eat at a certain time. You have to only eat these types of foods. Or maybe you only have a window like this, fasting, for example, a window like this that you can eat. So you go between 16 and 19, some people go 20 hours without eating food, and then they ingest it in a short period of time, and they talk about the benefits of that. And the benefits are you're supposed to feel this feeling of mental clarity, and you're supposed to feel more energized, and there's hormonal things that happen in your body, and it goes on, right? Well, I've tried it. I've tried intermittent fasting, for example, and it's limiting. It's limiting in that what happened to me for that example is I would not eat for my period of time. I think it was 19 hours I was doing. What you do is you just have coffee in the morning, no sugar. You can drink water during the day. And then you have this little window of time, whatever you decide it might be. and it can be 8 hours or less, okay, where you're allowed to eat. You're allowed to eat, right? So what happened to me is I ended up binge eating. I ended up stuffing my face full of all these calories, right? And then I would go into my fast. And guess what? I did. I lost some weight. It's true. It works. And actually, I didn't feel that great on it. Probably the first few days were horrible. And then I felt okay on it. I didn't get this miraculous feeling of, oh my gosh, I feel so mentally clear and I feel so great. And the one problem I had with it is it was limiting. It was limiting, and it was causing me to stuff my face in a short period of time. And it's very hard to fit a lot of calories in that short window of time. So it does work. But because it was limiting, it didn't work for me. And there are other diets out there that are more complex, okay? And that was just intermittent fasting we're talking about. But there are other ones that are more complex, where you can only eat this certain type of food at this certain time, and you have to get these certain ingredients, and they're only available at this certain health food store, and they don't carry them at your grocery store unless you have a really specialty grocery store that has like a special section with this rare ingredient that you need for your diet. Again, it's too complex. It's too difficult to meet up to. It's too difficult to keep track of, right? And that is the problem. If it's too complex, if it's too limiting, us human beings don't like that. We don't like being limited. We're made to be free. We're made to be able to enjoy our lives, right? We're busy. We have busy schedules. We have families. We have jobs. We have, people that are relying on us. And we can't be trying to follow some complex diet or limiting what we're going to do with every morsel that goes in our mouth, because it just doesn't work for the long term. I'm telling you, if more people in the health and fitness industry focused on this, focused on our psychology, the way we're thinking about what we're doing, and in regards to diet, why aren't the diets working? They're not working because they're too limiting. They're too complex. Guess what you need? You need something that is simple. You need something that allows you some freedom. And that's what I discovered 15 years ago. So those are the 3 myths when it comes to dieting. And in the end, the choice really is up to you. Now, if you are looking for an eating approach that does address things on the psychological level, that does address things also on the nutritional level, and allows you to be a human being, then you may be interested in my eating approach, the Automate Your Plate eating approach that I developed. And the best part? I'm not selling you anything. In fact, I'm going to give this to you for free. That's why I'm here every week, to help you so that you can be successful in your weight loss and your health endeavors. I know my Automate Your Plate eating approach is super simple to follow. I developed it. I've been on it for 15 years. It did help me shed 65 pounds of unwanted weight in 13 weeks. But that's not the best part. The best part is that was 15 years ago. It's not complicated. It doesn't involve counting calories. It doesn't require you to starve yourself. It has automation built right into it, and it allows for much freedom while still losing all the weight if followed correctly. Again, it's called Automate Your Plate. I talk about it in my book and I teach it in my online course, and you can get your very own free copy of the Automate Your Plate checklist today. Just go to ethanlerock.com/automate and you can download it there. I know you're gonna love it. And for those of you watching on YouTube, yes, there will be a link down below that you can click on and you can get it there. And before we go today, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, what I'd like you to do is share with me a diet approach that you've tried, and share with me your experience that you had, whether it be good or bad, because I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. And I really hope this week's episode helps you to save some wasted time and effort. It's one area that I really know what I'm talking about. And if you did find this episode helpful, please leave me a review if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and leave me a comment if you're watching on YouTube. Also, feel free to ask me any questions you might have about dieting, because it may help me to put together some future shows. And to help the show, please give us a like, or even better, share this episode with somebody, because maybe someone out there could really use the information. Until we meet again, stay healthy, be happy, and live your life with intention every single day.